Welcome to the 80/20 show presented by your host, Jason Yee. Hello. Welcome, Train 2.0. Welcome to the 80/20 show hosted by Jason Yee. So, yesterday we had one of the Train 2. I'm going to make a video on this in the future, but I want to test out this ideology. I want to test out the analogy, see if it's good persuasion or not. But I want to talk about playing with instincts. And so here's the analogy. See, let's say that you have 7 eggs, right? And you're that's why we're testing this out. I want to see how the analogy is, and I want to see if it sucks or if it catches on before I tie it into another video. So let me know if if it works. Okay, you have 7 eggs and you have 3 baskets. Okay, you have a planning basket that looks into the future. You have a sensing basket, which is to use all your that's using all your senses right now to pay attention to the environment around you. And you have the reflecting basket, which is reflecting on things that happened in the past, right? Now, the planning basket can also be like thinking ahead, anticipating. And the reflecting basket can also be ruminating on mistakes, right? Thinking negatively about mistakes. Now, when NHLers play, they place all of their baskets, all 7 eggs, in their sensing basket. And what this allows them to do is it allows them, because all 7 of their eggs, and the reason I chose the number 7 was because, as you guys know, our attention is limited. Our ability to focus on things is limited. It's at about 7 things plus or minus 2, hence 7 eggs. So if you place all 7 of your eggs in the sensing basket, guess what? You can do a very good job sensing your environment. But if you place one of your eggs, or 2 or 3 or 4 of your eggs in your planning basket and another couple in you're reflecting on mistakes, and you're not actually sensing. An NHL player is most of the time going to have all 7 of their eggs in the sensing basket. So they are going to be able to use all of their focus, all of their attention to simply take in their environment and to anticipate and to sense and to feel the ice, the momentum of other players, the movement, the rhythm of the game. When you place one of your precious eggs in another basket, you take away from the sensing basket. Now, some players have an unfortunate voice in their head which tells them not to trust their sensing bucket or their basket. The planning bucket the planning basket wants your attention. The reflecting basket wants your attention. Right? If you made a mistake, the reflecting basket wants your attention, and the planning basket is telling you, no, don't trust the sensing basket. The sensing basket is just, it's all fly by the seat of the pants. But the truth is that the sensing basket is actually the fastest learner if you'll let it be. Okay? So when you trust the sensing basket, when you put all your eggs in the sensing basket and you trust it, you end up playing better and learning faster. Now, some players will actually try to use their planning and their reflecting basket during games, and this is a bad idea, right? Because the thinking and reflecting baskets are really, really, really slow. They're not meant for automatic. Now, it's hard to trust it, but it is automatic. When you sense your surroundings, when you place all 7 in the basket, the motion, the feel of the ice, your body adjusts automatically. Now, this, of course, is going to, beg the question like, oh, are the planning and reflecting baskets useless? No, they're not. If you're planning your career, if you're planning your development, if you're planning your summer training, then of course you need to use the planning basket. If you're reflecting on your mistakes so you can make adjustments in the future, you want to place your eggs in that basket. Now, if you are doing that, you want to be doing that away from the game. You want to be doing that at home with a pen and paper. But when you're playing a game, you want to be using the sensing basket. And it's my hypothesis that NHLers and other players who play based on instinct are placing all of their eggs in the sensing basket. So this is the analogy, and I repeated it often because repetition is part of persuasion. But analogies are not great persuasion. So I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on that analogy. And yes, let me know your guys' thoughts. Now, you might some of you will understand that the idea behind that analogy is to have people engage in unconscious learning or implicit learning, which is the idea of learning without having to fire up your conscious mind, because you want to think of your unconscious mind as some sort of computer that can take in a whole bunch of different things all at the same time, all in parallel. You want to think of your conscious mind, which can only think of one thing at a time. So your conscious mind is kind of slow compared to your unconscious mind. Now, it's not necessarily, just because I say it's slower, doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it has a purpose, right? And that purpose is to think logically and rationally about things, or to rationalize after the fact, as you who are students of persuasion know to be true. And the unconscious mind is going to pick up a lot of stimuli and place patterns together if your subconscious mind has seen those patterns many times before. So we talk about if-then when it comes to player identity. If you have a solid if-then structure and you're doing a very good job sensing, then your unconscious mind is going to unconsciously link the correct things together if you identify the cues correctly and you have them linked to the correct response and you have the magic mechanics. So that's the idea behind the analogy, and we can go in depth into the science if anyone has any other questions, but I wanted to present this to you. I'm interested in the feedback. I'm interested to see if it'll catch on, because there was a lot of interest when it came to player identity, because I even saw people have sent me quite a few people have sent me pages of their player identity, which is really great, but then how do you implement that into gameplay with instinct, without thinking about it, without using your planning basket too much? That's the question. So I want to see if this analogy flies and see what people think, because that's how we will figure out if this stuff is any goods. Now, if you have any questions, ask them now. You might want to ask them now. Oh, I'm getting a text. All right. Just replying to text messages. All right, now there's a short one, but a quick one, a fun one. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're watching live right now, you can download this episode, available in audio only on iTunes. So you guys are welcome to watch that. Thank you guys for watching today, and we'll catch